a moment that changed the fate of a nation. In late November 2013, Ukraine's then President Viktor Yanukovych pulled out of signing an association agreement with the European Union under pressure from Russia. Thousands of protesters filled Kyiv's Maidan Square, waving the blue and gold EU colours. Among them was Dmytro Riznichenko.
We wanted to find human dignity. We wanted freedom.
After a brutal police crackdown, thousands more Ukrainians joined the protests from across the country. Some 108 protesters were killed in what became known as the Revolution of Dignity. Yanukovych stepped down in February 2014 and fled to Russia. Olga Tokaryuk, who now works for the British policy group Chatham House, was among the protesters and took these images.
We had no idea what was ahead. Of course, we could not have imagined that there would be Russia's invasion and that there would be war that would last for 9 years already, that there would be Russia's full-scale invasion, that millions of Ukrainians would have to leave their homes, thousands would be killed in this war. Many of the people who were on the square in Maidan would be killed in this war.
Russia forcefully annexed Crimea in March 2014 and fomented a separatist war in eastern Ukraine. Ukraine elected a pro-Western government and demanded EU membership. But Brussels said Ukraine wasn't ready, and that proved fateful, says Tokaryuk.
Ultimately, that's what compelled Russia to invade Ukraine on a large scale, because Ukraine was just left in this limbo. It was left as a buffer zone.
Ukraine is now engaged in a full-scale war against Russia. More than 10,000 civilians have been killed since Moscow's invasion in February 2022. Next month, European leaders meet to decide whether to begin formal negotiations on Ukraine's EU accession. Marking the 10th anniversary of the protests, Ukraine's president said it was his country's destiny.
20 years ago, it was a romantic dream. 10 years ago, it was an ambitious goal. And today, it is a reality in which it is no longer possible to stop our progress.
The president of the European Council offered his support.
I intend to do everything to convince my 27 colleagues that we need a positive decision in December.
It's vital that the EU offers Ukraine hope for the future, says Tokaryuk.
It will be a morale boost. It will be a blow to Russia, of course, because that would mean that Ukraine has once and for good departed from the so-called Russian sphere of influence.
EU accession would require large-scale reform of Ukraine's governance and economy. The decision is expected at a two-day EU Heads of State summit in Brussels beginning December 14th. Henry Ridgwell, VOA News, London.